Hello everyone and welcome back to the Palace Zoo once again. Today we have our first big animal in the zoo, a giraffe with the little diamond-shaped things on their body. Okay, here I was thinking I want to make a little water feature where it's just a fountain that goes down some steps. So I thought, hey, we can fill these barriers with water like I did in the garden area. So I was building this all happily. Oh, I'm gonna build this little water thing. It's gonna look cool with all the water and then the water effects. And then it didn't work. I couldn't place water in them. There's some weird levels of glitching and stuff you can see here. And then I deleted it. So I tried something else. So now I'm just making the thing with water effects only. So yeah, you're going up a little slope here with rocks. I used a reference image of that someone sent to me. That's a good friend of me. He sent some pictures of a German palace, and it was like a dome thingy. And I thought, well, I'm gonna copy that and gonna place it in my palace zoo because it really fits. So that's what I'm doing here. So it's a little cascade of water. Well, not yet, it's just stone now, but in a second I'm gonna add the water things. So yeah, people can walk up the stairs besides this. Stairs are not yet here, but they will be in a second just now. Now this will actually be the last episode before I'm doing like a bit of an overhaul to the things I did before, because I got a lot of feedback from people and a lot of useful feedback, and I want to really incorporate that into my zoo and make it a better place overall. So if you have any last feedback in this video too, please let me know, and then we can improve it next episode. It's just gonna be a giant overhaul of things, especially the reptile house of last episode. The backstage area I was not really happy with, so I'm really excited to work on that. So here I'm making a little platform, a little circular platform on a hill. That's also going to be a lookout point on the Giraffe Enclosure. But first we need to further copy that image someone sent me. Tattoo, yes. And there's like a little rock structure where two angels or like babies, I couldn't really tell, they're very similar anyway, like set on a rock with like a vase that's poured the water down the water thingy, the fountain. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do here too. But first we need to make something on this little platform, and for that we need circles for the platform. Here we go. Yes, so the circle is gonna be the height. That's gonna determine the height of the platform that the thing. Well, you saw it in the thumbnail and the cinematic. It's gonna be like a dome thing. I thought it looked very classical and would fit very well in this place. It also gives a bit more verticality to the zoo, which we have been lacking so far. So I'm really happy that it is now here. So yeah, here I'm building it. Some nice pillars, really big. First I was like, are we building this too big? And I thought, no, just build it. It looks more impressive. So yeah, it almost looks like it could be in Greece or something. But then I made the color of the roof like bronze or copper, I should say, copper. And then it fit with the rest of the zoo. Apparently that's pretty expensive. So it's probably not realistic that almost every building has a copper roof. But I'm just taking the liberty. It was a really rich royal family that lived here, I guess. So yeah, just doing some trim work on this building to give it a bit of detail. I really am trying to get more detail into the buildings, especially the habitat buildings. I'm gonna change next episode and give it more detail, more depth. Yeah, here I'm building the dome with the circle technique. Like this whole structure is basically one big circle technique thing, and it's about like 500 planks. And my game actually started freezing when building this, so I was a bit worried. But I think it doesn't do that anymore. But it was a bit scary. So you can see like small hiccups here. I had to wait like a couple of seconds between placing every item down, which was really worrying actually. So I'm glad it doesn't do that anymore though. But yeah, so here I'm building a stag, or a deer, instead of babies, because we don't have statues of babies, but we do have them of animals. So the deer is holding the vase in his paw, and that's what's watering the water feature. So here I'm extending the big plaza. That's also a thing I'm gonna change next episode though. And just to, well, the gravel looks a bit out of place, and I wanted to fill in the empty places, and yeah, it just looks a bit weird, but now it looks better. Yeah, okay, so I'm using tundra rocks for this statue thing, but I'm mixing temperate rocks in between to fit it all together a bit, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, I also reached 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome. Thanks for that, guys. I'm glad people enjoy watching my videos and want to stay tuned. So that's great. Yeah, I'm not gonna make like a special video or anything. Well, I actually was gonna too. I was building the Eiffel Tower like on a 1-to-1 scale, and it went good for the first 30 minutes, and it looked pretty cool. And then my game started freezing, and that was done. So sadly enough, no Eiffel Tower for now. Maybe it gets fixed in future with an update or something. I'll check it every update, and I'll build it anyways. But it was pretty cool, but wasn't really original or anything. Just a cool thing to look at. But yeah, now I have something else in mind for. Well, not really a 1,000 subscriber special. Just a cool habitat. Probably will be the next video. Also, I'm gonna make a Spore series. So Spore is a game about life and basically the evolution of a species completely from a cell to the space age. And it's such a cool game, and released in like 2008. But I don't care. It's just one of my favorite games, and I just wanna put it on my channel. I think I'll really have fun with that, and you guys too. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's different than this game, of course. It's more of a gameplay-focused thing, but there's still lots of creativity to mess around with. You can really design your own species and cities and cars, and it's really interesting premise. Sadly enough, it wasn't the game it was promised to be, so it was still good, but not as grand as people expected. So there wasn't a sequel or anything. Well, there was a shitty hack and slash game, but we don't talk about that. Oh yeah, okay. So I placed the giraffe here down already and put some fencing up and some rocks. I wanted to have more natural barriers than only fence, because people recommended doing that, and also have a bit more height variation in the habitat itself, so that it's like a slope down and stuff like that. But at the end I wanted to have a giraffe house, because they need the place to have some shelter from the people and sleep to and stuff. So that's what I'm building here. Actually based that on the one in the London Zoo, I think. It was pretty old. And then I looked at some other buildings from that area, like the 1900s, 1800s, so much. So I hope it fits in the zoo. It's very different from the other buildings, but I might just change the other buildings to fit that more a bit. Yeah, but here I'm just doing some pavement. This pavement really helps to give a more structural look to the zoo, which is not always what I intend to do, but in this case it's just, well, since it's still the center of the zoo, I would say, a bit, it looks like it's been there for a while, and it also gives, some integrity to the zoo. So that's what I'm doing here. The leanings of trees. Oh yeah, I also found out about the new pine trees. Well, they are not new, but for me they were, and I hoped we had those in the game, but I just didn't see them. But I'm really a huge fan of those trees. So I will be using those a lot more. These ones, yes, these ones. They give it more like, to me, like a campsite feeling. You always had those in the forest here in the Netherlands, and I guess in Europe in general. So they would like fit here in the Palace Zoo, more towards the other areas, I guess. I'm also gonna just incorporate the same trees as we used before still, but I I don't know, they give a bit of a more exclusive feeling than the other trees, at least for me, because I'm not used to seeing those trees all the time. And then I guess that's also what this game is about, not just animals, but like flora too. Actually like that more about the game than animals. I don't know. Maybe I should play the franchise mode a bit to learn more about animals and actually care well for them. Care well for them. Yeah. Okay. So here I'm starting on that little building I talked about earlier, the Giraffe House, and I built it too small initially, and I had to raise it up a bit because giraffes are apparently really tall creatures. Who would have guessed? Yeah, they're pretty tall. But yeah, anyway, I tried to have a bit of depth in this building with placing the brick on top of the brick, and it has depth. Yeah. Also, I choose brick instead of limestone because limestone isn't really. Yeah, well, it's pretty. I don't know what it is. It is not really exclusive or something, but it just seemed brick seemed more like a more well-made fit for this area. So I'm going back and doing some backstage areas with brick. And the backstage area that like no one sees, the modern stuff is gonna be plaster or concrete, pretty ugly basically. But no, yeah, we need to have a balance in this. So yeah, like Thanos always said, perfect balance is needed. So we have the beautiful stuff for the people, and the not so beautiful stuff for the people who work here. That's how it mainly goes in theme parks, at least. Don't know about zoos. But yeah, continue the building here with more brick things. I might change the windows to square ones, because we've seen these a lot now in the zoo. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad or anything. It's hard to make something. Well, it's easy to make something look pretty, but like to make something look good and well, interesting is a harder thing for me in this game, at least. I'm used to more like contemporary buildings, so it's a nice challenge for me. But yeah, doing some soil work here. Apparently it wasn't done with the building yet. Okay. Yeah, more doors and a little road. Yeah. Now these roads are for staff only, which is the point, but they are ugly because I want to have the tree bark paths because they blend really well with the terrain texture. So I'm just using those. I know people can walk there now, but I prefer for this park aesthetics over utility. I also turned off all the welfare things in the zoo this episode, just because the like all the things the what did they call it, the notifications, they were annoying. So just like stop that. I only have I still need to place down power facilities for power and water treatment and stuff, because it should work when it's done. When it's done, I'm gonna turn all of it back on again, and I'm gonna do all the management and making some differences in the placement of staff facilities maybe and stuff like that. Yeah. So here I'm doing the interior of that building. Nothing special, some wooden rods. I also placed the ceiling, but I cut that out because it was annoying to look at. Oh yeah, almost done here. Placing some trees down on a big plaza area to give it a more foresty look, because we've seen a more classical look in this park already. This zoo, I should say. And yeah, I thought this would be a well fit for the little domey thing in the background. It looked pretty cool to me. So I thought, hey, let's do that. Yeah. So yeah. Next video is gonna be that little habitat, my 1K sub special, I guess. Not really, but I'm happy about the idea I got. So I'm really looking forward to do that. And also that Spore Let's Play that's gonna happen sometime soon. So I'm placing some lamps here. And the lamps are important to lit the area. So, oh yeah, we don't want people to fall down into the giraffe habitat because they're really ferocious animals. So some barriers should do the trick. And some wood here. I don't know if the wood mixes well with the limestone, but I mean, yeah, give me feedback on that, right? Okay. Some plants. And here we're finishing it off with a power facility. Bah!